same person. A big problem with interviews we find is your personality tends to like other personalities that are like yours. So depending on the role you're hiring, let's say you're hiring an ISA, it's a lot more structured. It's dialing 150 FISBOs a day. It's keeping notes. It's following, you have to have a higher S and a C to be able to do it than maybe a super aggressive type A, outside hunter gatherer. You interview this person and you go, the other next person comes in and they have the same traits that you do. And you go, I like them. They like the things I like. They're motivated by the things but then you put them in a role that you wouldn't want to do any more than they do.
Yep.
So I really want to dig deeper into, we've got the personality that we do. We look at the personality assessments, the DISC and the values, and we're helping those intangibles.
Yep.
25%, maybe a third max of the hiring decision.
Yeah. I can't.
All the time is what you're saying, which is don't just look at the profile, look at the resume, interview them for an hour and go, I like them. Okay. Dig deep into your role plays. Cause I think I agree with you. In the military, we had different evolutions. We had like a 64% attrition rate in many of the schools that we had. And until you see people actually go do it, you don't know whether they will or won't fail. This is before you make an offer. This isn't a 90-day probationary period. You're talking extensive role playing. How much do you do? How many hours, or is it?
Yeah. So I'll take it kind of from the top. So when we meet somebody for the very first time, when whoever is interviewing that person, what I tell my kind of key leaders is when you walk into the interview, just spend the first, 5 minutes building rapport and asking yourself, how does this person make me feel? Like very simplistically, how do they make me feel? Because when you give that person a lead, when they work on the team, they're going to make the leads you give them feel the same way. So that's like step one. How do they make you feel? Step two is we try to dig into this. We call it a personal narrative, and it's basically kind of their story. We try to dig out of them from when they graduated high school till current day. And what we ask them is, tell me, year by year, what was the major event? What did you learn? What did you earn? Was this a positive or was this a negative year? And you go by year, and it's mind-boggling when you do this exercise. It takes a while, but when you go through this exercise, what you discover is there's like 50% of the stuff they speak about verbally that's not represented in their resume. So the third thing is the core values questionnaire. And then fourth is when we actually do the role play exercise. So we tell them, look, hey, just real quickly, we're going to do a quick role play exercise, right? Here's the scenario. You are the agent and I'm a homeowner, and my house just failed to sell after being on the market for 6 months. And you are applying for a job, to get me to hire you as the agent. And I do not like realtors right now because my house was on the market 6 months. I spent every weekend getting my house ready for showings and getting out of there, and it was just completely miserable. And you're interviewing for a job to get hired to sell my home.
I like the way you put that, by the way. I get awarded the business. I'm interviewing for a job, not making a sale. That's an interesting. And people listen to that, make a note of that as you're listening to this, everybody, because I think that speaks to a very different mindset. I'm not going to go land this necessarily or hunt and fish for it, which is important. But that I just wanted to stop for a sec, not to interrupt you too much, but make a note of that because you're interviewing for a job when you're an agent. I'll come back to it. I'll let you finish. But I want you to dig in on that a little bit as to what's different about the attitude of that person that sees it that way.
Well, so basically, like whether you're hiring an inside salesperson or a listing agent or buyer's agent, the whole goal of this role play exercise, like, you can tee up the scenario however you want. It really doesn't matter. Like whenever you do your role play exercise, what you're trying to dig out of them is you're trying to understand how they respond to objections. So there's basically three types of people out there from an objection handling perspective. There's the first type is the person that just shuts down. Like you get an objection, for example, I say, you know what, you're just not what I'm looking for in an agent. Thanks for coming by. It was great getting to know you, but you're not what I'm looking for. So that the person just shuts down and shakes your hand and is like, all right, thanks, bye. The second person gets diarrhea of the mouth, and they start talking about how great they are. They're like, well, Mr. Seller, I'm number one in the neighborhood. Like, I'm one of the best in the industry. You should go talk to your neighbor. Like, I know I'm going to get your house sold. And they just won't shut up. They like keep
Show up
talking.
and throw up, we call it.
Yep, exactly. So that's number two. And number three is the person that comes back with a question. So I shut them down and I'm like, you know what? You're not what I'm looking for. Thanks for coming by. And they're like, well, wait a second. If you don't mind me asking before I leave, could you tell me what is it you are looking for in the person you hire to sell your home? And so your whole goal is, in salespeople, like you're trying to find somebody with this natural inquisitive mindset and curiosity type mindset where they come from a consultative question-based type, mindset. That's the type of person that's going to naturally have much more success. And that can be a really hard thing to train in people. So, there's people that are just, some people that are just more naturally more curious. And if you're in the real estate business, like you don't have a lot of time to like try to train people to be salespeople. Like if you're going to start giving them leads and technology and, all these resources at your expense, like you need them to hit the ground running. You can't spend, 6 to 12 months making them great salespeople, because you need to spend 6 to 12 months teaching them how to be a great real estate agent.
Yeah.
So, in the real estate industry, ideally, if they don't have sales experience, at least you need to find somebody that comes from that curiosity mindset and asks questions when they get shut down.